so I am guessing that we're going to have a little bit of snow in a few minutes, which wasn't on my plan, but we all know how plans go. Okay, so we are ready to go from Indianapolis. It is another chilly morning here. Don't think it's going to get too warm all day today. And we're heading out to Altoona, Pennsylvania. So wish us luck. We'll check in a little bit later on the trip. Or not, but it's a very interesting scene in front of me. Well, so the flurries have started falling, maybe a little more than flurries, but nothing's really accumulating on the road yet. But it'll be interesting to watch it and see how it goes. That was a little exciting. Definitely got a bit snowy there and even a little bit of snow on the road, but golly, it was like 5 miles, maybe a little bit more. So traffic's picked back up and we're good to go. On to Altoona. Well, I've made it to Altoona. It's just a few minutes after 3. It's going to take me a little while to check in, but there's a site or two that I'm hoping to check out once I get settled. So hopefully I'll get to share those with you. But good trip. Little snow here and there, flurries on and off, in and out of the mountains. Even had a little trek through West Virginia, which I totally didn't expect, even though I looked at the map this morning. Tells you how short the trek was. But doing good. As I said, here to check in, and I'll follow up with you later. I am standing here at the site of my adventure today, and I'm disappointed that it is closed. Its Facebook page said that it would be closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday due to inclement weather, but today is Thursday, and I figured it would be open as it is its regular operating hours. But I am standing at, see if you can see the sign over here. This is the world-famous Horseshoe Curve National Historic Landmark, and it is still functioning. What you can see up behind me, right along this ledge, and it continues around, and it continues around in front of me, is a railroad track. And this was this Horseshoe Curve was constructed in the 1850s to allow trains to get up into and over the Allegheny Mountains. As you may or may not know, trains do not do corners, and trains do not do steep hills. They do like a maximum a 2% grade type of thing. So to get up into a mountain, they need a long run up, and to go around corners, they need a large diameter. So this amazing horseshoe was built starting, let's see if I can get it, starting here, and it continues behind me all the way around, goes a side of this mountain. You can see it continuing again over the Jeep, continuing up here, and it continues to climb up into the mountains there. And it is one of the most famous horseshoe curves that is in the world. And what it does is just allow trains to climb up into the mountains. I will also say it's active. There are over 50 trains a day that pass by here. So my goal was to come here and watch a train come by and film it for you guys, but it's closed due to inclement weather. What I can tell you is that in the time that as I drove by it the first time, turned around and came back, 2 trains have passed, one going down, one coming back. I don't hear one now. If I was a little quicker with the camera, and I guess you just missed it. It was in my earlier take, was just the tail end of a train that you could still hear, even though I could barely see it. And by hearing, I mean just hearing the wheels rubbing up against the tracks was screeches and creaks, and pretty darn noisy for a slow-moving train climbing up the mountain. And by train, too, I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of cars. These are not small trains. These are massive freight trains that come through here and just slowly climb or descend the mountains. So I'm sorry I don't have any footage of trains for you, and I'm sorry I don't get the adventure I was hoping to have today. Because you're allowed to walk right up there, and it's a big, right up by the tracks, and it's a big spot for rail fans. Anyone who's a rail fan knows that Pennsylvania is one of the premier places to come and watch trains, and I've never really been able to go to any of the premier places, and this is probably one of the best in the country to come and watch trains come by, and a little bit of old school for those of us that enjoy old school technology. So, sorry I can't show you a train, but I still thought I'd share this with you. And a big part of Altoona. It's just it's in Altoona and just a few miles outside the city proper. So I think I'm going to go try and grab some dinner, and we'll talk with you a little bit later. It's hard to believe I'm so close to home. Almost powered through it today. I really did. I was tempted. But I just thought it made sense. You know, take your time, be safe. The idea of getting in at 10 or 11 o'clock tonight just did not excite me. I thought 2 easier days would be good. I was looking forward to seeing the world famous horseshoe, which sadly I didn't get to see, at least not up and close. But it just seemed to make sense to just take it easy. And then as the snow started flying early this morning, I said, yeah, this could be a longer day than you anticipate, so this is good. Music. So let's talk about our song. I actually didn't listen to a whole lot of music today. I started the day off in silence and did a lot of listening to my book. I think I did 5 hours of listening to my book, and I was only in the car for 7.5 hours today. So a lot of it was listening to my book, which I'll undoubtedly finish early in the day tomorrow. It's getting really good. The other thing is, it was all day Beatles. That's all I did today is listen to the Beatles. When I did listen to it, I put on their one album and just listened to it because it's got so many great songs from all their different eras. And what I ended up going with was Paperback Writer. Isn't always one of my, I mean, I've always enjoyed it. Everything on that album is phenomenal, but it's not one I would have thought that I would pick. Almost went with Eleanor Rigby, which has been one of my favorites. Yellow Submarine also came up and got me going a little bit today, but honestly, it was Paperback Writer that woke me up the most and kept me moving, and so thoroughly enjoyed it. Take a moment, click on the link in the description and watch Paperback Writer. What's amazing is just the old footage of the Beatles. For someone who was born or at least, came to awareness after the Beatles had already broken up. Never got to experience what a Beatles release album was like or anything. To go back and see some of their footage, and particularly this early footage from Paperback Writer, was just really fun to watch. I'd never seen this video before. So again, I encourage you to do it. Enjoy the video, and we'll touch base again. My thought for today is about disappointment. This came to me as I was driving home from going to visit the world famous Horseshoe, because I was disappointed because I was so proud of myself for finding something that I really wanted to do, and having the time to do it, because so many of the places I've been to, I get in, it's late, it's tired, or I'm far out from anywhere I want to see, so I haven't seen a whole lot. And to be able to see that, particularly here in Altoona, was a great idea. Didn't happen, didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But it left me feeling, about disappointment. And as I was driving to the hotel afterward and just thinking about times in life when we're disappointed, and what had occurred to me is those times in life when initially we're disappointed, but then either weeks or months or even years later, we look back and realized what a blessing that disappointment was. Not every disappointment is that way, but there are numerous disappointments that we have throughout life where we can look back after gaining some experience and knowledge and say, what a blessing. So think back in your life about some of the things you've been disappointed in, and where have you felt and found disappointment that when you look back on it may have been a blessing in disguise. So I certainly have had some in my life, and I bet you have too. One word in closing today: home. Tomorrow I head home, the final leg of this journey, which has been awesome. It's been great. I will warn you, chances are good I'm not going to put my video out tomorrow when I get home. First thing I'm going to do when I get home is hug my wife, if she'll let me. Been very careful with COVID. Tested myself twice, tested myself again this morning. I'll be testing myself tomorrow. No symptoms. I've kept pretty clear. I've tested negative every time. But we're still talking about whether or not I should quarantine when I come home. But if we agree that it's a good idea, number one thing is going to be just to give Elizabeth a hug and relax a little bit. Just celebrate being back in Barrington, back in our house, and just enjoying that peace. And then I will worry on Saturday about getting out the final video for this series. So don't worry if you don't see anything late tomorrow night or first thing Saturday morning, because I'm not going to get it done tomorrow night or first thing Saturday morning. It'll be something that'll be a project for my day on Saturday. So again, thanks so much for tuning in through all the days we've been through so far, for the last day that we have left. And thanks for sharing this journey with me. Thanks for being here, because it's been neat. It's added to my experience knowing that I'm not entirely alone, and some of you are following me and on this bit of a journey with me. So thanks for that.